Good morning. How is everyone? Hi. Okay, so this video is specifically created to be a morning motivation video. So if you just need a little bit of a pep in your step, a little bit of a reset in the morning, you can either watch this now if it's the morning, or you can save it for later. So you could watch it tomorrow or the day after as your kind of like morning motivation video. Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mandy and I am a writer and a career coach. And I talk about how to bring more creativity and joy into your life. I wanted to make this video for you guys because in some of the comments, people were saying, oh, I love to listen to your videos in the morning, or even I save your videos so that I can watch them in the morning when I get ready or during my drive or in my morning walk. And I can't even tell you guys how much that means to me because I literally am the same. Like when I'm driving to drop the kids off at school or when I'm taking my little morning walk, I'm always okay, let me find little motivation. Let me listen to this thing on YouTube. And so I am so honored that I could even be that person for some of you. So let's do this. So the plan for today is I'm going to share some kind of active tips and tricks that you can be using as you are on your walk or as you are getting ready in the morning. And I'm also going to be sharing some positive affirmations and mantras to just get you into the right mindset. Okay, because I don't know about you, but when I wake up, my brain is a fog. I literally sometimes have to be like, what day is it? What planet am I on? What is my name? I'm so out of it. I think it's because I really enjoy sleeping and I have a very active dream life. As if you're a creative, you might relate to this. And so when I'm dreaming, I'm just on a different plane of existence. And then when I wake up, I'm like, oh yeah, I have a human body. And I have to go do human things. And so it always takes a minute. And it's not that I'm not a morning person. I actually am the most productive in the morning. I'm filming this in the morning, right? I'm the most productive in the morning, but it just takes a minute for me to adjust to reality. Okay, so I'm going to share some of the things that I do to kind of get into the right mindset. Okay, so this is the first thing, and this is also advice as a business owner. So if you're running your own business, if you are doing your own creative projects, this helps me a lot because I often just sometimes get confused. Okay, the first thing is I always write down on my little whiteboard just a list of things that I want to accomplish for that day. It's almost like a roadmap so that as I get through the day, if I get distracted or if I just forget, I always look at that and I literally write stuff down and then I cross it off. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so this is literally just a cheap, I think I got this at the dollar store. Literally, this is nothing has to be fancy. And you don't even need to have a whiteboard. It could be a Post-it. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is what I've written down. And notice I really only write 3 to 4 things max. Because I'm not trying to stress myself out, okay? I'm not trying to have 55 things on here. I'm trying to have 3 things that are moderately challenging and that I know are going to help progress my goals on a daily basis. So for me today, my things are I need to make progress in my book. So I wrote 2,000 words. I didn't do any writing yesterday because I was traveling. And so I have I'm supposed to basically do 1,000 words a day, but I've upped it because I'm okay, you missed yesterday. So the biggest goal for today is to work on the book. Second thing is the journals. So I am a writer and creator of these journals and I get orders every day. So I have to actually make the journals. I have to pack them. Today I only have I think 6 or 7 orders to fulfill. So it's really not that bad. This should take me all in 30 minutes, but it's something I have to do. Okay. Third on the list is YouTube. Here we are. Okay. And then fourth on the list, I always try to add one kind of house thing, domestic thing, family maintenance thing on the list because I am a mom, right? So I have on here dinner prep because I know by the time 4 o'clock rolls around and I'm trying to prep dinner, I'm a zombie. I'm just literally incapable of moving my body without groaning. So I know okay, you got to do that. Don't forget, plan it in advance, do that in advance. So for me, I'm this is a huge day. This is like, I'm sorry, between YouTube and writing, like, I already know this is jam-packed for me. And I think that we should not try to be so ambitious all the time. Like, if I even get 3 out of 4 of these things done, I'm like, it's a good day. It's a good day. Okay? So try to just pick fewer things and then actually get them done. And it feels so good. I literally take this pen and I cross this stuff off and I just love it. I walk by it, I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that got done. So I love the idea of just like waking up, writing down a couple of things that are on the agenda for today and having that kind of just live with you, travel with you during the day. The second little piece of advice that I'm going to share is, you may have heard this saying where it's like, eat the frog. Okay. And the idea here is that you want to do the hardest, grossest, like eating a frog is gross, right? So you want to do the hardest thing as soon as possible in the morning. I really feel like we only have a set amount of energy every day. And if you save your hardest tasks for last, that is when you've already used up your emotional power, your physical power, like you're like running on empty. So you have to pick like the hardest thing to do in the morning. Okay, so for me, I'm usually doing one of two things in the morning. I am either filming a YouTube video, not that it's hard, but there's just like a lot of moving parts. And I also feel like if I wait until later in the day, like things are going to get steamrolled. Okay. Or 2, I'm doing my writing. And trust me, there are so many little things that come up that I fight with myself because I'm like, I should throw a load of laundry in. Yeah, but then if I do that, then I'm going to feel like I need to fold the clothes in the dryer and then I got to wait for them to move the clothes over. And then all of a sudden that's like 20 minutes gone. 20 minutes of your best brain time. Like, you have to use that for yourself. Obviously, I'm talking as someone who is an entrepreneur. Okay, so I have a little bit more flexibility in my mornings and in my time. If you're like, yeah, okay, great, Mandy, but I like work a 9 to 5. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, this still applies. So there's 2 things I want you to think about. One is, if you are an entrepreneur, but you have creative aspirations where you're like, I have these projects, I have these side hustles that I want to get off the ground, right? That morning time, like, let's say you need to leave the house at 8. Maybe it's like 7:30 to 8 a.m. You're like, let me actually just like write this social media post and get it out to like help promote my work. Or let me just work on my writing for the blog that I'm working on. You would be shocked how much you can get done in 30 minutes. Okay. And then if you're just like a 9 to 5 person and you're just into that and that's like your focus right now, which is amazing too. Okay. If you're into that life, then also think about how to structure your day. Maybe you want to block off, if possible, parts of your morning, even if it's like 30-minute block, 45-minute block, so that you could get your work done. If you're like, I have this project that has been hanging over me and it's due in a week, but I always push it to the end because I'm always getting pulled into these meetings to help other people with solve their problems. Okay, if it's a meeting that you have the freedom to be like, actually, can we meet at 3:00? Actually, can we meet at 2:30? Because I'm trying to get this stuff done. Okay, so it's also about managing your own energy, even within the constraints of a 9 to 5 type system. You can still have little freedoms where you can say, you know what though, can we actually move this? Or, hey, do you mind if we change this to a 30-minute meeting instead of a 1-hour meeting? And then you take that 30 minutes and you work on your own stuff. Okay, because what happens, I'm going to tell you, what happens with how burnout starts is you have all your meetings and all of your sort of busy time, interaction, social time where you have to like sit in a room and be in a meeting or sit on a Zoom and be in a meeting, right? And then 5:00 rolls around and you're like, great, I've been on meetings all day. I haven't gotten anything done. And now all my work that is actually just like me as a leader or manager or person that has to like write this deck, right? By deck, I mean like a PowerPoint presentation or Google Sheets presentation where it's like Google slide presentation, where it's like, you have to do the work. You have to analyze the spreadsheet. You have to come up with the allocations for people on your team, right? No one can do that stuff but you. Oftentimes that gets pushed till the very end of the day, and then you find yourself drowning because you're like, wait, I've just been in meetings all day. I haven't had any time to do any work. So when am I going to do it? Oh, okay, I guess I'll have dinner, log back on, and try to get it done. Okay, and you find yourself then, again, all those little pockets of time, that 8 to 9 p.m., you are rededicating to your job, right? And if you do that enough, like you do that 30% of the time, 40% of the time, you're going to be tired and you're going to be a little bit pissed. Okay, and listen, I know this is hard. I know this is hard from my own personal experience, from working with clients. Like, I know, especially if you are a workaholic and have perfectionistic tendencies. I know it's almost impossible to tear yourself away. But this concept of kind of like putting yourself first and doing the hard stuff first while you have the energy, because like, and I know also you're going to be like, but sometimes, Mandy, like I am an individual contributor and like I can't tell my boss, hey, I can't come to this meeting because I can get my work done. I get it. But what I'm saying is start looking for the places where you can have these little freedoms, because even small adjustments to your time where you even give yourself an hour back, give yourself 30 minutes back, and the system is there to distract us, and it's there to like, oh, let me just respond quickly to this email. Don't respond to those emails. Don't respond to the Slack messages. Just put an away message on, okay, and finish what you have to do first. That is like my hope. That's just like what I really hope for you, okay? Okay, number 3, there is this phrase and it's called like put your feet on the grass. And I love it. And like, okay, this is like metaphorical grass, okay? But it just means that we are not meant to be like indoors all the time. And I have to force myself to do this as well. But you want to think about, when am I going to be outside? When am I going to get a little bit of outdoor time? Okay, we are meant to be amongst nature. We are meant to be amongst the trees. Sometimes if I have 15 minutes, I'm just like, get your shoes on, go outside, take a walk around the block. Just take a walk around the block. If you're at work, again, take 15 minutes between meetings, take a walk around the block. If you can be near water, if you can be near nature, all the better. If there's like a little path, all the better. You might also think about the contour of your day and thinking about beginnings and endings. Part of actually why a commute is really useful sometimes is that it creates a space of separation where during that commute, on the train ride back or in the car ride back, you actually have this time to detach, right? You're getting to kind of disentangle yourself from the stressors of the day. If that line is not clear, for example, if you're like, I work from home all day, I stare at the computer and then I just kind of don't really ever end. Like I'm kind of like in and out in this gray zone of like half working, half not all the time. You want to think about ways to have clean endings with your work. And a lot of times changing the environment, just a physical switch. Okay, I'm going to go around the block. I'm going to put my headphones on. I'm going to do my little walkie walk meditation, right? Especially if you work from home, it's very important to open the day and close the day, because you may not have a physical separation with your work. It may just hang out with you all day. It might just be like, well, I'm on my laptop at my dining room table, and then I just like move my laptop over, have dinner. You know what I'm saying? So what I like to do is just I like to verbally say, the work is done. Okay, the work is done. And I like to close the laptop, and I like to actually move it out of the room. Okay, you have to create these little separations for yourself. Otherwise, everything's going to start bleeding over. Number 4, and this is so silly, but it's also really important, which is you want to plan your meals. Okay? And I'm not one of these like mega crazy Pinterest people that has like every like orange chicken spaghetti bolognese, like everything mapped out to the day. I'm not like that. But I do feel like early in the day, if you can think about, what am I having for dinner? Or especially if you have a family and you are planning for their dinner, our dinner, right? It's so helpful to take 5 minutes and be like, do I need to defrost something? Do I have all the ingredients that I need? What do I need to do? Because I find, I'm just going to give you an example. Okay. I find that if at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, if I do a little bit of dinner prep, if I'm like, okay, I have chicken in the fridge, but I want to get it marinated in my teriyaki sauce. Okay. I find that if I take 10 minutes and I open up the chicken and I clean the chicken and I slice it up and I put it in a marinade and then I put plastic wrap on it and it goes back in the fridge. Like that literally takes me 10 minutes and it's so gross because then I've got like the chicken slime on the cutting board and I'm like, ugh, like all of having to do all of that little bit of work, that saves me. It literally saves me because then come 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5:30 when you're like, okay, it's like time to like get this moving, put the rice cooker on, do all the things. Okay. It's just a little bit easier. You got to make life for yourself a little bit easier. And the reason why we do this also is if you don't, then you're going to fall into like, let me just order in. And listen, once in a while, like I love that too. But it's like not good for your wallet and it's not good. Like it's always better to just make your own food too, because then you know what goes in it. You can season it how you want to. Okay. And if you're not a cook, if you're like, oh my God, that sounds miserable, Mandy, like even just knowing how to do like one or two easy, simple dishes that you can, like the word that comes to mind is like nourishing. You want to nourish yourself. And I have not found any shortcuts to this. It just takes effort. Nourishing yourself, taking care of yourself just takes effort. But if you can spread out that effort to be like, I'm going to do 20 minutes now to save myself even the mental thought of like, what am I doing? It is so amazing. Literally, as I'm saying this, I'm like, there is a flank steak that I got on sale. It was buy one, get one in my fridge. And I need to vacuum seal one, put it in the freezer, cut up the other, stop marinating it. And there is such a part of me, because procrastination is so big, right? There is such a part of me that's like, oh my God, you just deal with that later. No, let's do it later. Who wants to like touch meat right now? Like, you know what I mean? But that is just my laziness talking. And I have to move through that. And I have to be like, no, because current version of me is looking out for future you. Future you, hungry, tired, 4:35 p.m. you is going to be taken care of by 8 a.m. happy, productive you. Okay? We all need to coexist. We all need to take care of each other. Okay, the fifth one, this may be a little controversial, but I really do feel like you should sprinkle in or pepper in a little housework even when you don't feel like it, because your environment matters. I don't know if it's because Chinese New Year is coming up and I'm like mentally preparing for that, but I have been doing a series of like kind of big house projects and doing maybe one or two of those a week. And then also just doing like the basic maintenance of like, I have to put a load of laundry in every day because I have a family. Okay, this is just life, right? For you, it might be like every 3 days, every 4 days, but I'm trying to do things that just help me maintain. So one example house project that I did was I organized all my pots and pans because I have a million of them. And so I edited them. So I gave some away. I donated some. I then also measured the space that I have because there's like this one wall where it's like I had a bookshelf there, but like I don't think a bookshelf is like the right way to organize your pots and pans. I was just like shoving pots and pans on the bookshelf. And instead I like looked at that space and I was like, I think we should go vertical. So I measured it. I went to webrestaurant.com, not sponsored. Can you imagine? And I ordered like a 6.5 feet tall kind of like just one of those like metal structure things. And so over the weekend, like when I say like big project, like for me, this is a big project. Okay. I'm like not that handy. So for me, the big project was like removing all the pots and pans, removing the bookshelf, cleaning the whole area, and then building that metal thing, which is like kind of complicated. I mean, it's not complicated, but there's a lot of like sliding things on to different pegs and like, I don't know, it takes a little bit of brain power. And then like figuring out the heights of all the different shelves and then putting each of the pots and pans in. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm naturally just like, I'm a very little bit like messy person where I'm like very fast. I don't know how to relate this, but it's like I'm really fast, and then like once I need something, I'll grab it, but then once I don't need it, I'll like throw it back in the shelf. You know what I mean? So what happened is like my whole kitchen got very crazy and very cluttered. But then when I thought about like my values as a person, I was like, I value cooking. Like I cook basically almost every meal at home every day. This is like something that I like, something that I care about, but my kitchen looks like a disaster zone. So we have to improve this. Like we can't just live like this. You know what I mean? So you got to go back to your values and be like, what is important to me? You might be like, Mandy, I don't give two craps about my kitchen, but I am an artist and I really want my little creative space, my little studio in my corner of my apartment. I want it to look cute. I want it to look organized. Right? So you just want to think about like, what are your values? What do you care about? And then I just realized I was like, I don't have to live like this. Like I could actually measure out and get like a proper storage system for my pots and pans. And then I could just like live a better life. Like the whole storage thing cost me like $65. And then a little bit of elbow grease and an afternoon. And it's like, boom, now it's done. Do you know what I mean? A little bit of investment of time and energy, and you have like such a better experience. Like, what? I don't have to live like this. I could change something about my environment. So I guess this one is like do a little housekeeping, but it's also like be open to medium-sized projects in your house that make your life substantially better. Okay, and lastly, we're just going to do some positive mantras together because I feel like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I just wake up and I feel like ass. Like sometimes I wake up and I'm just like, I don't want to do anything, you know? And I can spiral a little bit. I can get a little negative. Like, I'm being honest with you, right? So I do often have to brainwash myself with positive mantras to just like, the thing is you can't necessarily get rid of a bad thought, but you can replace it with a neutral one, or you can replace it with a positive thought. The bad thought doesn't really go away, but it just doesn't have to take center stage in your brain, right? It doesn't have to become the loop that just like continues to sabotage you, right? So here are some of the mantras that I sometimes just say to myself. The first one is like, you are going to have a great day today. So I just say like, you are going to have a great day today. Sometimes I think about how like, you know, when you wake up on your birthday and like everything is great and you're like, today is so good, I'm going to savor it. And like, you just think about lunch and then you think about dinner and you think about like all the great things that you're going to do. And it almost feels like you're in a bit more control. Okay. So I realize I'm like, I look at that and think to myself, like, I'm just like playing a mind game with myself. You know what I mean? I'm just hyping myself up because it is my birthday. So I just already feel like extra special. So sometimes I try to bring that birthday energy to just like every day. I'm like, well, why do I have to be such a like sourpuss on like every other day? Like this is all just my own imagination. Anyway, why don't I just bring some of that birthday energy to the daily life? Okay. Second mantra is I am going to let some magic into my life. Okay. I think sometimes we get beat down because we feel like everything is so rote, everything is so punishing, everything is so boring. And it's like we don't leave room for that bit of magic. And I am going to use the word magic because whether you think about that as like the power of coincidence or the power of, you know, fate or, you know, the ability for passion to like exist in you, like it's just this idea that like, no, we are not just on this planet to like do work and live miserably. Like there are magical things in this world. There is like the power of like mystical things that like we can't necessarily see, but we can feel, and just inviting that into your life. Okay. And so I do feel like it is a little bit of just like invite that energy in, like pull a card, right? Touch a crystal, take a walk, like take a warm shower, like do something that just evokes a little bit more mystery and magic into your life. Even just saying, I invite mystery and magic into my life. I invite the power of coincidence into my life. I invite manifestation into my life, right? Like just welcoming these energies. I invite healing into my life. And finally, I want us to combat this idea that like we're all alone, just like these sad little people, all alone, by reminding ourselves that other people want us to succeed. Like, I want you to succeed. I think people watching this video also want you to succeed. Like, everybody wants you to succeed. There are people who are rooting for you, who want you to succeed. I say this especially because if you come from a background where, okay, not talking personally, but like if you come from a background where, let's say, your parents were immigrants and they were really hard on you, right? And there's sort of this like survivalist mentality of like eat or get eaten, right? Like, we don't necessarily feel that like the world is abundant and that people are here to support us. We feel like everybody's out to get us, you know? And that kind of competitiveness can be useful sometimes, right? It can be, but not all the time. Sometimes it is nice to just feel like, oh, maybe the universe has my back. Maybe there are forces here to support me. Maybe people want me to succeed. Sometimes it doesn't always feel like that, but just allowing yourself to believe that people are rooting for me. People want me to succeed. I got a journal order a couple weeks ago, and there was someone who I had printed out her order. So what happens when I print out the order is it automatically alerts the person like, oh, your thing is being shipped and packed. And then it shows you your order. And they emailed me probably 5 minutes within that and was like, oh my gosh, like I accidentally ordered the wrong thing. I meant to get like one of each journal, but for whatever reason, I accidentally hit 2 of this one journal. So can you please fix it? Now, I had already packed it up. It was like literally outside of my house, like waiting to be picked up by the postman, but I had just done it. So I literally wrote her back and I was like, of course you can, you know? And so I ran outside, I found the package, I grabbed it, I repacked it, and then I wrote her a little note no, I didn't even write her a little note. I just like simply like crossed off the order, and then I like hand wrote, I was like, 1 of journal 1 and then 1 of journal 2, and wrote like a smiley face and like put it in the package. And then she emailed me a week later when it arrived or whenever, and she was like, just so you know, like she took a photo of it, and she's like, just so you know, like one of the mantras that I've had is that the universe is conspiring for your success. And when I got your package and had seen like you actually like switched it out, and like, you know, that was an example of like the universe is conspiring for your success. And that just like, first off, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like totally gonna use that. I love that. But then also I was just like, of course, what am I gonna do? Be like, no, you know, like, no, you can just deal with having 2 of the same stupid journal. Like, no, of course. And so I feel like that very human kind response of like, of course, like, you know, just something that is so normal in your day could like make someone else's day so nice. And think about how many times you do that. You do that all the time. You're like always just like doing these like nice things for people, never expecting anything just because it's like the right thing to do, or because you're just like, duh, of course I would do it. Like, and I feel like just know that the whole world is like that for you. You know what I'm saying? So we want to get into this mindset of like, the world does want me to succeed. They're not out to get me. They're not out to eat me. Like, they are here to support me, you know? And also free will. Like, I have the choice to, if there's someone who's not supporting me, I have the choice to be like, okay, thank you. We're going to have a little bit of distance now, right? Okay, so this was my good morning manifestation, morning feel good video. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you have an awesome morning. And thank you guys so much for watching. I continue to be blown away by the support. And as always, I will continue to make videos because I'm obsessed with it and I'm obsessed with you. So thank you so much. And I will see you soon. Okay, bye.